Let's zoom in on a single, really complex day in the life of a global power, India, on August 28th, 2025. By looking at just 24 hours of headlines, we can see a nation performing this incredible balancing act between diplomacy, trade wars, and, well, huge domestic pressures. So let's see what that day actually looks like. So this is really the big question we're tackling today. How does a country juggle all of this at once? The headlines from this one day in India, they almost feel like a masterclass in managing contradictions. It's a story of progress and intense pressure, all happening simultaneously.
Here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start big, out on the global stage with a diplomatic win. Then we're going to zoom right into a major trade conflict. From there, we'll turn our focus inward to the pressures on the home front. And finally, we'll look at the economic engine that just keeps humming underneath it all.
All right, first up, we've got some genuinely good news on the diplomatic front. After a pretty serious period of tension, we're seeing a really significant thaw in relations with a key partner. And this is a big deal. By appointing new high commissioners, that's Christopher Cooter for Canada and Dinesh K. Patnaik for India, both countries are basically saying, okay, we're ready to move on. It's a clear signal that they want to get past that deep freeze in their relationship from 2023. It's a very deliberate move to reset and rebuild. But, and this is a big but, even as one diplomatic door is opening, another one seems to be slamming shut. On the very same day, the relationship with another major partner, the United States, is hitting a major storm. This is where the day's contrasts really start to pop. So what does this trade storm actually look like? Well, it looks like this. 50%. That's the new, very steep tariff the Trump administration just slapped on Indian exports. Now, this isn't some minor tweak. This is a massive economic shot across the bow. It immediately raises the stakes for every single Indian business that sells to the U.S.
So the minute this news breaks, the question becomes, what's the real impact here? Is this just a minor spat, some political posturing, or is it a genuine major blow to India's economy? And right away, two very different stories started to emerge.
On one side, you have this perspective. The economist Stephen Wolfe basically calls it a mouse hitting an elephant. His point? India's economy is the elephant in this scenario. It's so big, so resilient, that it can just absorb a hit like this and find other places to sell its goods. No big deal. But then you get the complete counter-argument from a very influential voice, former RBI chief Raghuram Rajan. He's saying, hang on, this isn't about the elephant of the macroeconomy. This is about the mouse, the small-scale shrimp farmers, the local textile makers. These are the people who can't just find new markets overnight. For them, a 50% tariff isn't just a headline, it could be a catastrophe. And the U.S. government is making it crystal clear that this might not be their final move. Kevin Hassett from the National Economic Council is out there accusing India of intransigence and is directly threatening to escalate things further. It kind of makes one thing pretty clear. This trade storm is probably just getting started. Okay, so while all that's unfolding internationally, let's pivot and bring our focus back home, because a whole different set of really urgent issues are demanding attention right within India's borders. And the home front is just a whirlwind. I mean, on this one day, you've got everything from a national security alert to a major twist in a crime story to a political firestorm and an environmental emergency unfolding in the capital. It's an absolutely relentless domestic news cycle. And to give you a sense of the urgency on that security front, authorities have put out a reward of 50,000 rupees. That's for any information on 3 terrorists who have reportedly crossed into the country from Nepal. So this isn't some distant threat. It's a live, active security operation. Meanwhile, you've got this environmental pressure cooker. Delhi's air quality index has shot past 150, which is officially unhealthy. To put that in perspective, that's 3 times the level the World Health Organization considers safe. It puts the city among the 10 most polluted in the entire world on this particular day. But here's the final piece of this crazy puzzle. Despite the trade wars, despite the domestic alerts, the country's economic pulse, it just keeps beating. Business, investment, growth, none of that stops for a single day. I mean, just take a look at the state of Madhya Pradesh. On this one day, a whole wave of investment is announced, all to boost tourism. It kicks off with over 1.3 billion rupees in government funding, which then fuels private sector growth. Everything from Radisson expanding hotels to Indigo adding more flights. It's a really clear, coordinated push for growth. At the same time, there's this critical negotiation happening that affects millions of people. The insurer Bajaj Allianz and the Association of Healthcare Providers are in talks to prevent a suspension of cashless services, and the stakes here are incredibly high. If these talks fail, insured patients would suddenly have to pay for hospital treatments up front. That would be a massive disruption for families across the country. And through it all, the market just keeps on chugging along. Analysts are still putting out their top stock picks, like Nika, Keynes, and Dr. Reddy's, and investors are still making their bets. It's just a powerful reminder that even in the middle of all this global turmoil, the daily mechanics of the economy, they never really stop. So let's just pull it all together. This one single day held a diplomatic win with Canada and a brewing economic conflict with the U.S. It brought urgent security alerts right alongside ambitious investment plans. It's all happening at once. And that is the reality of this constant balancing act between opportunity and crisis. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. When you look at all these competing headlines, the diplomatic reset, the trade war, the domestic growth, which one of these threads do you think will actually matter most, say 5 or 10 years from now? Which of these stories, from just a single day, is writing the first draft of India's future?